Class is getting the transition. Yeah, the transition.
Okay, guys, we'll get going. So, just 2 more classes now. I know, it's very sad. Almost end of semester. But we've still got 1 more topic to get through. So we're going to talk about fundraising today. And then next week, I appreciate you will have handed in your second assignment. You probably won't be in the headspace to want to do lots of heavy stuff about budgeting and finance and shares and interest and stuff like that. So we are going to do a massive module quiz, an epic mental meter quiz next week. So that's to look forward to. Next week we're going to do fundraising. This week we're going to do fundraising, and I've also set some time aside at the end, so if you want to ask any questions about the assignment, you can do. It'll be kind of the last chance to ask any questions if you've got them. But yeah, we're going to talk about fundraising and sports. We've got a couple of activities to get through first, and as I say, a bit more of a relaxing one. Doesn't mean you can't turn up, but a bit more of a relaxing one next week. Okay? So today we're going to be talking about fundraising in sport, particularly community sport. Couple of learning objectives tied to our outcomes for the module, so understanding about finance and business and contemporary sport, understanding dichotomy between sport and business, and also why financial management is important to the viability of sports organisation. So last week when we were talking about funding and finance, we were talking about professional sport, right? We were talking about share offers, we were talking about bonds, we were talking about how to raise large sums of capital for big projects. Today we're focusing on the bottom end of sport, right? So we're thinking about how do community sports exist? How do they get by? How do they raise capital for different projects? Okay, so we're going to be thinking about different ideas, different approaches that organizations take to raising capital. So by the end of the session, hopefully you'll be able to understand what are some of the pros and cons of different forms of fundraising for community sports organizations, what are some of the challenges and constraints that organizations face as well, and outline potential ways that they can improve fundraising and engage donors. Okay, we're going to look at fundraising, and then, as I say, some time aside at the end for assignment questions. So when we're talking about fundraising, we're talking very similar to what we were talking about last week, right? So last week when we were talking about, well, how does a sports organization fund a new stadium, right? So that is fundraising in a way, but we don't tend to call it fundraising. Right? We tend to call that capital projects or something like a large-scale project. When we're talking about fundraising, we're really thinking more about kind of community organizations or perhaps non-profit organizations that use sport as a way to deliver some community outcomes. Okay, but there's really 2 aspects that we need to think about here. So how do those types of organizations generate resources in sport? And then how do they use sports events as fundraisers themselves, right? So you can think about that as 2 ways. So fundraising for sport and then raising funds through sport, okay? And it can be a combination of both. So if you think about a running club might run a fun run, and that raises funds for a charity. So that might be fundraising using sport, but also for sport as well. So we're also thinking about how they generate resources for sports, so different types of campaigns. So we've got a capital, project, and annual. What do you think the difference is between those 3 different types of campaigns? What's a capital project going to be for a kind of community sports organisation? What's a capital project?
Money raising.
Money raising, yeah. For what though?
For the particular project that they're working on in that particular manner.
Okay. Go more specific.
Yeah.
That's good. You're right, but go more specific.
Tangible?
Sorry?
For anything tangible?
Yes, great. Okay, something tangible. So maybe it's for, if it was a running club, maybe it's for a new running track. Maybe they're raising funds for a new running track or a clubhouse. Okay. We've got projects. That could be something like a community outreach project. Maybe they're wanting to deliver, run, jump, throw projects in local schools. And annual might just be like the cost that they incur as a club. How do they raise funds to exist as a club to continue doing what they do? So we've got different models and strategies as well. So for good causes, rewards, recognition of community. I'm also going to talk about something called the escalator concept. So we said here about our capital projects. So as we say, these are facilities, major equipment. Okay, these are going to be kind of long-term campaigns that often involve several phases. So you can think about how much do you think would it cost to does anyone remember how much David said last week when he was talking about running tracks, how much they cost to relay? How much do you think it costs to relay a running track for a running club or an athletics club? Yep, 100k. Yeah. So you relay that every 10 years, okay? So you need to have a set aside bit of money that you're perhaps raising every year to meet that, because £100,000 is quite a lot of money to raise just on the one-off, right? So it's thinking about how do you raise that large amount of capital all at once. So these capital projects are going to be kind of include several phases. So you've got a quiet phase, perhaps. So before you launch a campaign, you're maybe thinking about who are the people that could support. If there are existing donors, people within the club that might put some money in before you get going. Are there other funders that might help you out as well? So if you were running who might be interested in funding a running track beyond an athletic club? So if that's an athletics club, they want to fund a new track. Who could be their potential partners? Sorry?
Council.
Local council, great.
National governing body.
National governing bodies. So David from Scottish Athletics, they might put some money in. Yep. Anybody else you think would be interested?
Like local businesses to get
Yep.
sponsorship.
Yeah, potential sponsors. Yeah, local businesses.
Former athletes. As sponsors.
Potentially former athletes. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else that you could think of? Members, yep, good. So these are all going to be internal, perhaps, people that you would reach out to in the first instance to see how much you can get before you launch it and go public. So it's almost like a quiet phase. You're almost sounding out how much you can bring into the organisation before you go public and live with it. Why do you think that organisations would do that if they were doing a fundraising campaign? Say they're raising 100,000 and they've already raised 50,000 before they go live. What do you think that's going to do to their campaign?
We don't need as much, so that would maybe attract people from outside.
Good.
So we don't need to give as much.
Yeah, good. So they've already met 50% of their target. So perhaps people from the outside are more likely to donate or invest, depending on what type of project it is. Yeah. So if they've only got to raise 50,000 rather than 100,000, it seems a bit more realistic. What is the other kind of message that it sends if you've already raised half the money?
We're investing in something that's already well supported.
Great, yeah. So there's almost like a confidence in that project already. They've got this kind of buy-in from other partners, so they can see that it could be kind of successful, right? So once you've got that kind of internal quiet phase, you've done all your reaching out on the kind of low down, low key, then you would go public with it. So it's then about going out to the broader audience. That's when you perhaps do press releases, you would engage with the media, you try and get as many people from external to the organization to buy into the project as well. Okay. Targeted and project campaigns. So these are likely going to be kind of shorter term projects. So we're not thinking perhaps about a big running track. We're thinking about a particular project that they want to run. It's going to be a shorter term special project or event. Trying to generate excitement, urgency over a project so people can donate. For example, fundraising to pay for a team to travel to an international competition. Funds to host an event, smaller equipment reboot, for example, new kits or something new equipment for the season ahead. You've also got annual giving, so perhaps you're asking for people to donate on a perhaps more regular basis, and this is for supporting the activity. So you can imagine the amount of people that sometimes you're out in Glasgow or Edinburgh and they come up to you and say, have you got a minute to chat? And then they say, like, can you give us £4 a month? And Katie goes, no, I'm not going to give you that. And run away, right? So these are the people that you want to, they're obviously there, they're trying to generate recurring income, right? What's the benefit of getting people to give you money on a monthly basis? Okay, they may be only giving you £4 a month, but what's the benefit of that over these kind of one-off donations? Stable, yeah, great. So what's the benefit of having that stable income, do you think?
Cash flow.
Great, so cash flow. We know we have a bit more of an idea of where money's going to come from. It means we can budget better. It means that we have more information of how much we've got. So that's really the key, is to get how much recurring monthly income can you get from people to donate to your organization. Okay, we're going to do one Mentimeter quiz today, so this is your opportunity to shine. So if you have a look at the first article on Canvas, this is kind of about the state of fundraising within sport. Not perhaps professional sport, but sport for good organisations, for charitable sports organisations, sports development organisations. Okay, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to have a read through the article. Have I posted it? Yeah, on Canvas.
Which one is it?
Which one?
No, I haven't posted. That's not very good, is it?
Is it one of these ones?
No,
Under here.
6 to 10.
the activity one. Give me a second. I obviously just didn't save it.
It's mean swimming, not recreation. Swim in the lane, not recreational. Like you cannot enjoy. You can of course chill, but for recreation, healthy will the
Me and you, absolutely.
He's writing it now. Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, it should be there now. So if you could have a read through that article on the state of fundraising. Okay, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to have a read through. Meantime, I can wrap it up. Famous victory for the Hammers. Flying up the table.
We won 4, right?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Tottenham. Like, why would you bring it down? Don't bring it
It's
down.
just take yard all the way.
I know, that was very impressive. They played well. But anyone could beat Man City these days, you know. So. Yeah.
West Ham support power. So did West Ham beat Man City?
Which one?
With Wellington.
Should also mention next week I'm going to bring prizes for whoever came top of the men's meter table, but also just because I'm nice.
No, this is a group exercise, Charlie. You're part of that.
No. There's no group work.
This is team. This is a
You
team
literally just grasped her up because you said that you would do whatever she didn't want to do.
What are you on here?
It's not yours.
You're not.
I thought we had something here. Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah. I'll take that. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, what? The worst thing I've dressed up into. I was in some straws, like a straw scarf. That's all I had on.
The boxers.
Swim for it, you know what I mean? Anybody who went up there was luck of the draw. Are your fault for looking?
How's the cricket going? Good. Are you watching it? Listening to it now? Are you? The commentary? Got some tunes on?
Some songs.
Yeah. Cool.
So that I can read because there's a lot of.
Okay. Good tunes, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay.
You listen to them?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I listen to tunes in my own time.
Are you reading?
Yeah.
Oh, doing the questions. Oh, okay. I'm happy to be around. How is this quiz? I'm blaming it on sugar.
Yeah, because that's what you think.
All those sitters missed. Oh, Charlie. Right.
Guys, the G-Wing's gone yet.
Yeah,
You
two.
missed. No, you didn't.
Yeah, we got two.
No, did you?
Right, trying to go off. I'm trying to go off, I don't know.
Did you score?
Yeah.
Aww. Was that before after you fell on your arse?
I had the boys
What,
at
on
staff
that
football today.
Did you? The kids?
Andy, I was expecting you there.
I had to look after
That's the
that.
only reason I went.
I'm playing Friday.
Okay.
Cool.
Why he's laughing? Oh, was that? No, I was just thinking I need to get like a fresh trim then.
And then you got time?
You know?
Yeah.
What's the
What
time?
time do you play on Friday?
Same time.
That's it.
For after class. We're sorted.
Oh, I have days. Yeah, I'll come to that. If I'm invited.
What man?
We'll come there.
That'd be great.
Charlie, do you want to come as well?
I'm in Inverness.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Are you? Why?
You know what he was listening to? Asakura.
Oh, that way.
It's a nice song, bro.
Ah.
Should have please heard. Yeah, it's a nice song. It is something that you must have.
Loch Ness Monster. Loch Ness Monster. Is that the event that you run?
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Square goals.
Got a
But you're more of like the Makalele, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't say that noise, like, you can't get anywhere in my
Mark Noble role.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that bad?
Wow. Okay, well.
You're
Just wow.
thinking it.
Yeah, I know. I have feelings. Right?
Small shoe. Where the fuck small shoe?
We're good. Almost finished.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright.
Ready for a quiz?
No, the other
Have a
one.
minute or two?
Wiki, like, who was?
Yeah. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay.
I've not done anything for that.
Oh, my feet are sore. My feet are sore.
I've been sitting right here. What about? Sitting next to me.
Oh.
Don't know what happened to me. The accusations.
Oh well.
Get your books. Take this one.
Yeah, I've got my bit of shame.
Anyone read this?
Trying to.
Sorry. I can't read when it's like a class.
We'll just leave it at that.
When you're
Or a banana.
Natural feeling.
Sorted. Yeah, ready? Okay.
अरे नंगे
The challenge is better than Greek.
accident है 100 word
There's a way. There's a way that you can like zoom in and out. And I've not learned how to do it.
Wait, what? You just click it. No, is that
No,
not
you can like
button?
zoom in and out to like that side.
Oh, wait.
Huh?
Mine doesn't do it.
You could just go to use the code at the
No,
top.
'cause that's just nothing.
But it is there.
Oh, I've not scanned.
Yeah, I've got it down, it's cool.
Huh? Is it like a thing or something?
Oh yeah, you like press it in slightly.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even see.
no that is understand
Oh, it works on the back camera. Oh, yeah.
To be fair, I would actually, but Ellie's mum's going to be
When I get past there, for one point.
Oh, what am I doing? I thought it was a cool.
But there's a lot of
questions. So I'll get 6 wrong. Let's see.
Okay. So 6 questions based on what you've just read about fundraising. So the article you read, what was the primary motivation for conducting the survey on sport for good organisations? Yes, good to see how COVID had impacted some of these organisations.
I joined at the end of the question. I literally went timer.
Which income source consistently represented more than half of the reported income for the sector?
I was quick, but I was wrong.
What did you put?
Donations.
Question 3.
Like the wrong one.
What trend was observed regarding donations from individuals and corporate partners post-pandemic?
You and your growth.
Yeah, a significant decline. Yeah.
Read that. I read that. Yeah. During this week.
Charlie, which one are you?
Question 4. According to the article, which factor contributed to the resilience of organisations during the pandemic? Yeah, good. Diverse income sources. What do we mean by diverse income sources? What does that mean? Guys, what does diverse income sources mean for an organisation? What does that mean in practice? Having a diverse income source. Why would that be helpful in terms of resilience of an organisation?
Just in case one means of funding collapses.
Good. Okay, so if we've got the pandemic and less people are donating on an individual basis, it means we've got other sources of income, so we're more resilient. Good. Question 5. What does the article suggest about the sector's reliance on a single funding source?
I guess so.
Yeah, it's decreasing as income sources diversify. And then final question. What is identified as the holy grail for sports for good organisations in terms of financial sustainability? Good. Okay.
Me neither, but I
Who's Zlatan? Ah, well done. Do you know what? I was just saying, you've not been on the leaderboard. Well done. Good for you. Okay, good. So, one of the things we're going to want to think about sometimes is this idea of upselling. What does upselling mean? Who's heard of the term upselling before?
It's when higher price when it is actually worth.
Okay, yeah, it's like similar to that.
Would it be like when you're trying to sell something else on top of it? Like, so you need this, you need that, as
Yes.
well as what you've paid for.
Exactly that. And we're trying to progress people up, right? So they started off with one product, you're trying to get them to go up and get the unit model, right? So the same thing works with donations and how we get people to become advocates for our product or our team or our brand, okay? So we think about this escalator concept of consumer behavior, okay? So if you think about the most dedicated followers of a team or an organization, they're going to be the heavy users, right? So they're going to be a season ticket holder, they're going to be a donor, a volunteer. Okay, so if we start at the bottom with the non-user, obviously what you're trying to do is you're trying to get somebody that perhaps doesn't use your product to buy into it, right? Get them to use it in the first instance and then progress them up this escalator, okay? So you're trying to get them to become an advocate essentially for what it is you're doing. So we're going to have a look at crowdfunding in sport. So an overview of crowdfunding. So it's different platforms that you can use when you're doing crowdfunding, but essentially you're going out to an audience, right? It's that kind of public phase that we were looking at the start. It's when you're trying to get people to buy in, give you money essentially for something, okay? So that could either be as a donation where they don't get anything, or it could be in return for a perk or a reward of some sort. So there's different platforms that offer different types of things, okay? So we've got all or nothing versus percentages. Does anybody know the difference between these two when it comes to crowdfunder? What's the difference between an all or nothing or percentage? So we've got our athletics track. We need 100,000, otherwise you can't build it. What happens if we reach 95,000? We ain't got enough, so it's not going to happen, right? So all or nothing would be, unless we get 100,000, it's not going to happen. Percentage would be like you just claim what you generate from it, okay? You've got different models, so you could be a donor model where you're just asking somebody to give you a donation. Simply, you're not going to give them anything in return for it. You're just asking for a one-off donation out of the goodness of their heart. You've also got an investment one, so perhaps you're going to sell equity in a project or a startup of some sort, or it could be a reward. So you might have donated something in the past or contributed something in the past, and if you've given a certain amount, you've maybe got something back for it. So maybe, has anyone done that, where they've given money to something and got something in return for it on a crowdfunder? Doesn't have to be sport. So it could be a musician that you like and they're trying to raise enough money to release an album. They get enough money and you get a copy of the album when it's released. Not that people buy out anymore, but anyway. Yeah, I mean you're old, so yeah. Loans, we've got we've got the idea that you give money and then you receive it back over a period of time. Okay, so you're giving them the money that they need up front to do something. Sorry, that was quite harsh. And then we've also got primary and secondary forms as well. Okay. Why do you think crowdfunders have been quite popular in the last couple of years?
Helps sustain organisations after COVID.
Yeah, good. Okay, so reaching out to the public, asking for a bigger pool of people to help out financially. What are the benefits of a crowdfunder?
Easy to set up.
Yeah, easy to set up. Yeah. Yep.
It's meant for this.
Yeah, good. Helps with income diversification. Good.
People can do it.
Yeah.
Like I know Hearts, the people will pledge £8 a month to the foundation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Good. Okay. So a number of different good things about crowdfunding. You might have seen some of these platforms before. So we've got Kickstarter. That's typically for like a new business or something that wants to start up. So you might see a Kickstarter for a kind of a new enterprise that's sports related, and they're asking for money, and you'll get a copy of its product or a version of the product when it's released. You've got Patreon. Patreon's more of an ongoing thing, so you continue to give money. So I don't know how many of you give to like different podcasts. You like podcasts, and you can pay for the premium version. A lot of them will use Patreon for the kind of platinum or ultimate version of it, and then you've got crowdfunder, and then you've got regional ones as well. So there could be a kind of a British version. Obviously, you've got like an American versions of this as well. So numerous different types of crowdfunding that you can do, and the motivations will vary. Okay. So we've got the donor model. So that's donations just because people like what you're doing and they support what you're doing. They're not asking for anything in exchange. You've got a reward model. So they're getting something back from it. They're giving you a certain amount of money and they're getting an exchange or a benefit of some type. The investment model, they perhaps become a shareholder or a member or subscriber. And you've got the loan model as well. So most of these have typically been something for nothing. So you're perhaps just asking for a donation or it's a reward. Not many of them typically give you equity or a share in the business, and not many of them are loans. But we are going to talk about community shares in a minute as well. So we've got this kind of new model that's developing. And a lot of the time it's to do with a sponsor as well. So we mentioned with that running track, for example, we might go out to local businesses and ask them to buy into it, right? Because we want them to do something within their local community. It's going to be good for them. They're going to get good press and PR for supporting it. But actually, it could also be really critical to the financial viability of your project. So we've got two forms of crowdfunding. The first doesn't really include a sponsor at all. So this is where you've got a project, you put it on the platform, and then you get contributions, right? The second one is when you have a sponsor company, they're sponsoring a project, and then there's kind of this interlink between the project creator, the platform, and the contributors as well. So if you want to have a look, it's one of the recommended readings for the week. You can go and read this article. French study showed that the campaigns are more likely to be successful if they have a sponsor company. So a company getting involved in it and they're offering some financial support and PR to it. And the crowdfunding platform and the projects they support become new interactive online communication tool for sponsors. And what they found was people wanted to give to these types of projects because they had a sense of community, a sense of belonging. Some of the things Charlie mentioned there with hearts, you've got a kind of shared values, interests as well, and to gain benefits directly. So what's in it for the company themselves? Well, a number of different things really enables them to become associated with that kind of positive feeling of belongingness, togetherness, that community, and that creates a positive relationship for them. Kind of communicates a social message that touches the contributors' desire to feel part of something, and it provides a different way for those projects to receive funding as well. And there's also been the growth of kind of new specialist crowdfunding platforms specifically for sport. So you can go to Sponsorize, Make a Champ, We Play Sport. Okay, these are all sport-specific platforms that you can go and have a look at, and they're often for trips abroad or whatever that they're fundraising for. So this is a photo from Sponsor Me. So the company sponsors the campaign, individuals contribute towards the project, and then the sponsor's role is to help promote the campaign and provide some benefits as well. Range of different types of things that the contributor can get as well. So they can get gifts. It can be tickets to a game or something. It could be a gift certificate. It can be merchandise. It could be access to an event. Okay, so they could be getting some exclusive deal if it's a professional club, perhaps an invite to a training session, behind the scenes type of thing. Could be recognition. So it might be like a brick on the stadium or facility or a plaque somewhere. Okay, could be something in a newsletter. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do to benefit from that. The benefit to the sponsor, they reach out to engage with the audience, contributes to their kind of CSR goals. We had a look at CSR a couple of weeks ago, and we can be particularly useful for smaller companies with limited staff that want to do it. So we can think about the pros and cons of fundraising. Some of the good things about fundraising. So it could just be a form of donation. So it's money that you don't need to repay. It's free money, essentially, right? You're just getting something for nothing. Funds can come from many different investors. So there's that idea of income diversification. We're reaching out to a wide pool of people. You could build a customer base quite early. You don't need to do credit checks on the people that are you're getting the funding from, or that you are your organization itself. And you can, importantly, raise quite a lot of money quite quickly as well. So if you're thinking about trying to raise quite a lot of money, crowdfunding could be quite helpful. Some of the disadvantages of crowdfunding: the best way to do it is through a platform, but platforms don't operate for free, so they're likely to take a percentage of whatever it is that you raise. So that's like money that you've lost. This idea that your idea might get swiped in some way, so there's lots of different products out there, and they might try and steal your idea. And you might not have as much guidance. So numerous different disadvantages as well. Okay, so you might remember from the first assignment the organisation Glasgow on the Ball that you had to write about. So that is a real club that does exist, and the charity in Zambia is a real charity as well. So this was a charity that set up in 2010. So I'm just going to share some experiences of what we did with Africa on the Ball. So set that up in 2010, right? So we didn't have any additional funding. It was very much a grassroots project that was designed to help people in Zambia in one particular community called Kilingalinga. And the only way that we generated funds at the start of it was by hosting 6-a-side tournaments. So we would get teams together, we would try and get money from them to enter a competition, we would spend the day playing, and then there would be a winner. Okay. So that was a nice idea, but quite a lot of work into a one-off tournament that you maybe get £200, £300 for, that would support the work that you were doing. So not huge sums of money, but it was a good way to engage lots of different people. Then we thought, well, actually, lots of people like the idea of what we're doing as a charity. Maybe they'll give money to us on a month-by-month basis. So that's where we had an idea of creating a supporters club. We would give them some perks. So they've got a version of the club shirt that they could wear, or a scarf, or a pin, or a sticker. But they give maybe £4 a month. Some people give £50 a month. So it ranges from £4 to £50 a month that people donate. And that's great income for the charity because we know how much we need to operate in Zambia and therefore how much we need to be generating within the UK to support that activity. Then there's grant funding. So we've looked around and we've gone and applied for different pots of funding from Scottish Government, for example. So we've had some Scottish Government funding to develop the charity in Zambia. That was £15,000, so a large one-off piece of funding. But quite a lot of work goes into applying for grant funding. And much like that article was saying, the pots of funding are getting smaller and smaller. The budget that governments are giving to international development are reducing. So it's becoming more and more competitive. You also have to do a lot of reporting as well. So if you are successful and you get funding, you have to report on all the different bits of the project and what you did. So another thing we thought was, well, we know lots of people that like playing football. They've come along to our six-a-side tournaments. Why don't we try and create a club that could raise awareness of the charity and also generate income for the organisation, which is where we started Glasgow on the Ball. So that's a lot of work because we've got 4 different teams, as you'll know from assignment. So running 4 teams can be quite hard work. Getting people to pay money on a month-by-month basis can be quite hard. The cost of running teams is really quite high these days. Facility costs are very high. So it's actually how do you make enough of a margin that makes it worthwhile for Africa on the Ball, for the charity. So we started the club, Glasgow on the Ball, as a kind of a social enterprise. The idea was that we would take all these different members' money we would charge. At the start, it wasn't very much at all. But each week we would go around, collect money in the changing rooms and collect it all in and then put it in the bank account. That was a lot of work. And, people would forget money some weeks and we just got a bit fed up of doing that. So we moved to a direct debit, so people would just pay on a month-by-month basis, and that would generated more income. So you got your money guaranteed each month, but then it's making sure that you have the right amount of people signed up to make it financially viable. We've done different things like merchandise, so we've got Glasgow on the Ball shirts that you can buy and different events that people go along to. But it's quite hard to generate more and more money. Like everyone's asking for money these days. So it's what is it that you're doing that people want to donate to and feel a connection or a connection to. It's good. It's been good for the charity, Glasgow on the Ball, because it raises, thank you, awareness of the charity's work, and it can also generate income for the charity. Disadvantage is the club actually has to make the money for it to be worthwhile, right? So generating a surplus for these projects can be quite challenging. And if it doesn't generate a surplus, then it's actually doing the charity a disadvantage. Okay, that's enough of me talking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to think about how you would fundraise for a sports organisation, okay? So what we'll do is you can work in groups, groups of 5, I think. It works. 6. Groups of 6 is fine. So there's 10 clubs that are listed on Canvas, right? You can pick any one of those clubs. And I would like you to think about how they can go about fundraising, okay? I've put a fundraising strategy template on Canvas, okay? And I would like you to have a go at creating a strategy using that template for the organisation that you choose. So think about, there's some questions to think about on there. And I'm going to give you until 4:20. Okay. Did that not save either? That's quite nice.
Let's take
Sorry?
Thank you.
What have you done?
Yeah. Did you not see the chat?
Yeah,
I won the treble though.
That's good.
The actual treble, not the Liverpool 2001 treble.
Yeah.
So I was like, I
Well, you completed it, mate.
completed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to like pick up my phone and forget about what I've done. That is really, really bad. But I was spending hours on it. Like hours.
Damian Hill.
No, I'm not having a good lunch. No, I'll just play it.
That's why I don't. I've got
Me, you in the car. Okay, me. No, you have to be interested. Again, why bringing me everywhere? Because you are experienced guy. Eldest in the room. He has some experience. I see. So, Western Wildcats, okay? Western Wildcats. Hockey club.
No, not Western.
Founded in 1888.
Glasgow Rocks basketball.
Choose one. What if we don't?
Go with wheelchair rugby club.
How do they play rugby in a wheelchair rugby?
Okay, so it's on campus now. So in your groups, have a think about the club that you want to choose, and start to populate that fundraising strategy template, and then we'll check back in and hear what your different thoughts were on how to progress with that organisation. Okay. Any questions? All good?
All the time, right? So how that works is you pay every month for the reward. You can have each different amount. Certain stuff like a newsletter, you pay more.
Oh, right, okay, yes.
And then the second tier, the first part stuff. Then the third tier, above that, you get more
Description about the club, the size.
It's like a subscription model one. So it's like crowdfunding.
So what?
Crowdfunded, but oh yeah, right.
Match their.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them could use it. It's just a way to that's crowdfunding.
Man.
Please, actually, that's a drug. Yeah, so that's crowdfunding.
See, I am not the topic here. Topic is this. No, I can take a whole book.
don't want people not interested in that.
Go to that website. Western Wildcat.
Yesterday, Aura Bridge got
Aura Bridge got good. Super
super in that website.
Insanity.
Fundraising.
I'm not advocating for
You're going to be awesome. You're going to be older, close to the
Senior membership.
That's fine. You know what I mean? Like, and then you need to re-engage with the people.
Yeah, that's totally
You're always going to
Capital size hockey.
get money.
Okay, look at this.
You mad?
What, you doing some shopping, are you?
like to watch the games. You get to
Yeah, we were actually.
No, it's just contributing on the merchandise. What?
They're not caring about
Exactly.
Yeah. Just looking on the specifics of it. Okay.
What is the Uniqlo will be a good option?
What? Sorry?
Uniqlo.
I care.
Sure.
Here's
Boom.
you just lost me.
Western Wildcat organization.
You already started searching for it, right? Women's sport, men's sport is women's sport, and our men's sport is women's sports.
His clientele is older people.
No, I never said that. I was talking, you know how
You guys don't get in bb.com. You should not have come to the class, you know.
yeah, There's three different tiers of subscription. So the lower tier you would get
Yeah, I'm going.
commemorative things. Second tier you could get access to watching the matches or podcast stuff about the third tier maybe some merch something like that. And it would be different different values. Like Netflix, how they do like different premium and stuff like that. And I was saying like the older people generally have a lot of music, and young people are kind of because they have a lot of time and they want money. Because I know lots of people have got to attract because but you've always got sport, you've always got a base anyway. So kind of it's different as well. People also for something.
1 day is left. Okay, let me do it. It's anyway going to end. We'll put Nandis.
Affluent as well. Balls sat in rugby would probably they're too affluent.
Stuck in traffic for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, St Andrews is where the money's at. People got money to donate.
It's the Apple Watch Ultra.
And he's got a whip as well.
A whip, it's a different one.
Do you not know what whip is?
My guy.
It's really good.
And just pretty pure. A man of your stature.
It's like his whole life.
stuff from
It's actually like
your muscles.
you never take it off. No. You just light something on it and it charges.
Why am
Although that's where I saw it. It's really nice.
the membership prices of the background and context?
Anywhere.
What's on it?
You can wear it
Yeah,
anywhere.
where's graduation?
No, I mean like you
get, like-
wear it on different parts of your
So
body.
you can get like different size straps. You get like a
I'm sure you
bicep.
can get a
You get like
one too.
you get like boxers and. It wouldn't fit around my biceps.
But like one of my pals, the nurse, she has wears around her ankle.
And
Like
it's
she can't have anything.
I would have been really cool. So it's
Using go-kart.
So it's a heart rate monitor too. It's got like it's got a heart rate monitor and like it knows when you're ill.
What 280 bucks?
It's got like all that. But say for example you've been out on a night out, it'll know that because your recovery will be severely not great. Yeah. I'm walled in. I can't do Right, so what club do you want? Do you want to do the rugby or do you want to do golf? Golf. Golf probably the middle.
location's a big thing.
Location. Yeah. What do you want to say?
After that, the word has also.
What? Top four. Right.
No.
Golf. I really want to see that brought into this.
Just write potential revenue streams for this one. And explanation.
I'm listening.
So golf is quite a good thing to do because
Write it somewhere.
They were tired.
I'm retired.
And people conservative.
Didn't really.
Okay.
So yeah, they put money
Implement it.
to things and time and money.
Implementation game. See, then you will write in brief.
So what should we call this?
I know what you're trying to say.
Do you know Watch Go?
Do you watch golf?
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
This year.
It was
That's such like a.
Sheffield.
What? Do you know that music band you've got on your TV? Your
I don't know. I don't
It's under
Well,
Sheffield.
your teacher at all.
One of my mates is, or one of my mates' dads is Rory McIlroy's coach. Michael Banner. Yeah, I seen that
I've
actually.
seen that as well. Wait, what?
Andy Murray's playing Djokovic.
I think that's a smart move.
It's a smart move for
Andy, but maybe not Djokovic.
Is it not opening up
Someone முடிச்சு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க activity
Fine, it's like, come
Your man's cooking.
How was his? Oh no, you weren't there.
Jamie Murray, I think, who did the other one the day before. I had some guy who
Yeah, he was an honorary member.
did it.
Forever.
திடீர்னு பார்த்தா வாலிபால் சென்டர் இருக்கு போன் எடுத்து கேமரா ஓபன் பண்ணிட்டு கனெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கு அங்கெல்லாம் விளையாட்டு இருக்காங்க மீதி 5 பேரு அவன் முன்னாடியே பந்து வந்து
Oh, that's maybe.
Wait, there's a tower.
நல்லா இருந்துச்சு அப்புறம்
Quite has stuff.
I probably should have go for
Practicing Uno like all weekend.
What is it?
I left the Mario Kart.
Just about history.
What action? I'm anything.
Just about history.
Sorry.
Any regular and performance over the years. And I'm about to talk about
Wait, I know you.
facilities that include
வாடா இஸ்தாமே கோடா இஸ்தாமே
if the clubs are in that stuff like that. And actually, also Newcastle, because I'll just say what has happened. Or
what did you want to say what does it look
so there's a thing here. So within Scotland, what's the charity? It's the Scottish Golf. St Andrews Golf Club.
in McDonald's
Oh, that guy. Yeah, it's like that.
extra pair of boots you may even have one pair of boots till last Wednesday yeah, that's easy.
Oh, shaft.
I think this is for like our
Something in that.
Give it to
No.
Okay, and the bed. Yeah, everything's just a competition about here.
History is here. No, bro. Including its size, resource, and community engagement. I'm just forget about it.
Just one second.
We have the weekend pack. We'll do another weekend.
I'm very. I'm a,
Listen to your laptop. Wait.
Dad's got a bed up there. You're not listening.
The first, where it's like. Ganesh. Ganesh did it. Why you Ganesh?
Get your dad as a special guest speaker.
மேல பார்த்தா ஆனா இருக்கு என்ன இது எல்லாரும் இடத்தை பார்த்துக்கிட்டு அதை தவிர எல்லாத்தையும் பார்த்துட்டு
What did you put? Figure can only say that. Why you have to say? Don't do it in my laptop. No, he's Oh, style speed. No, charity name पे लिखे थे Hey, what is the charity name? Change is too long. It won't come like this. What is the charity name? Everything name is a club. Charity name you have to find no. Western Malkis organization.
Yeah, you're going to crowdfund on that name, no? You're going to do it now.
Used to be longer. Back in my day.
What's up?
Because there was a number of way that went straight. Like Jesse of Scotch Corner and then just the process, bro. Corner. I just got it off the word. No, just like it's a kind of
Charity name, yeah.
my brain is a brain.
Okay, what we got? So we're thinking about how does Sterling help you. So I think the context.
Yeah, but I've got this one.
Okay, so what?
Jacob Becker will play Fiji. লিখতে হবে কি বেস করলে কেন লিখছিস এখানে খুলে দেওয়া ওপেন ইট খুলে দে ওপেন ইট ইজ টেলিং ইউ টু ওপেন ইট খুলে দে ওপেন ইট খুলে দে
It's just confusing.
বেঙ্গলি খুলে দে খুলে দে
So அந்த காசு இப்போ அந்த காசு வந்தோன்னா அந்த காசு என்ன பண்ண போறோம் ஆனா அது ஒரு அப்ஜெக்டிவா போடுது
காசு வருது காசு
கொடுத்துருக்கு ப்ரொபோசல்
நான் கொடுத்துருக்கேன்
கொடுத்துருக்கிறது வந்து எப்படி ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி அதோட ஈவெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாமே வந்து கேம்பெயின் எப்படி பண்ணலாம்னு அந்த காசு வந்து வந்த காசு என்ன பண்ணணும் என்ன ஆப்ஜெக்டிவ் அந்த காசு once we get the money what are we going to plan to achieve பண்ணுமா
Oh my
போட்டியா ஸ்வாட் போட்டியா
write all this thing no I did my job here. How come to yours? What you do?
No. No, my body.
This one he said.
Graduate stuff.
Also there. See, sort of
No, it's a Wednesday. Wednesday. Oh yeah. And then we went out.
download it. You gotta do it. Download it.
See, I'd rather have to.
He's doing it.
yeah
But he
So
filled it.
just thinking about what
It's
was
yours.
Not really. Well, it's like mail.
do we have an organisation?
Do we need to drink?
Okay. Yeah. This looks very
ChatGPT.
Yeah,
We did it.
yeah.
But now we are.
Right.
It's not yet done.
No, we're just getting the framework and we're just
They really don't.
Okay. All right. I was worried for a minute.
Yeah, we went for Scottish golf.
Okay. Have you got an idea of the strategy, the document?
I'm just looking at it now.
so the overarching objectives of the document might be
It's just really enthusiastic about the strategy.
So I think you would aim to get a percentage of your support. That would be kind of your objectives to try and market it. To get your base, especially the golf, you can like
how we are going to
hang around. Like the money goes with that, but just try and market it on Facebook.
Acha, wait. Fundraising is a bunch of shit people.
Yeah, like
What is the fundraising strategy again?
people are more active on Facebook. Into that now. So trying to get percentage of what you're looking for.
I think like
वो कल लिखा जाए तो बड़ा अरे बोलते थे हम लिखते नहीं थे हमको जब नहीं थी तो कैसे अच्छा events
Social media really, although it could be a priority, is not the major priority because maybe they're not not necessarily active on social media. Really, maybe, I know Facebook has, but like just maybe target Facebook. That seems to be the place to go.
To be fair as well with golf as well, because how Charlie was talking about a lot of like older people, like a lot of people when they retire take up golf. It's probably one of the most popular sports they take on. So even if it was just like courses, it's easy, simple, and it's easy access for the members to see.
Okay. Yeah.
So try and find someone as well that you work with. Like obviously not in the beginning. You're trying to find someone like
probably McIntyre, yeah.
yeah, but try and find like someone like I know but like they use Gary Locke.
You're always as bad as I'm always
No, that's what I know. But they use Gary Locke because he's like his heart's as anything. Like he's like he knows the club. Try and find someone like that for golf.
He's writing it. Tell him.
I think golf is really helping.
He's writing it. Tell him.
tell him what
Yes.
Makes sense. All right. Any other thoughts?
Give them percentage.
6 months. Huh? 1 to 6 months. 6 months time.
Calling up
We're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait till we
Or McIntyre, because or
Okay.
or beginning of this year
10
he won
minutes.
the
If you need to go to the
Scottish
toilet in that 10 minutes, please go now.
won the Scottish Open.
Sorry?
What do we write for the date of the timeline?
We did. It did actually. Yeah, it must just be you get old.
Thank you so much for
Give him all the shit.
I just think it.
He confiscated it.
Well, legs in a week.
Yeah. Have a break. Yeah.
like a proper break.
Yeah.
Like we need break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I go?
मतलब 2024 के
15 minutes.
timeline 2020
I'm very good at hiding this, okay?
2024 என்ன பண்ணுவ இல்லையா You go for a smoke.
Yeah.
इधर first come in. This is road. And now you have to write here also, no?
So yeah, I'm filling up the overall Google Form. This one, I'm filling this up.
Okay.
I'll also fill this one.
And what are they doing?
I shouldn't. I shouldn't fill this one.
Actually, this.
We don't have to go all this and all. It's fine. We just make a pitch saying that we're gonna do this and that, and this is how it's going to be.
Yeah, I see. Drop me an email with what's that? Maybe I'll you can try to email me today. It's okay. Possibly it'd be unpaid, but an internship. Yeah. Okay, no problem.
I know.
Hello.
I had a chance to look at the back on the wall.
Okay.
So yeah, like what will be the role?
So need some help developing video content essentially. So
Okay.
we have like a video camera.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have lots of content,
Okay.
but we never do anything with it.
Oh, so you want me to help with the post production?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
developing videos and stuff like that. Is that something that would be of interest?
I've been doing it for the last
You
4
got
years,
it?
so yeah.
Oh, okay. And I mean, like, we can certainly make it impactful.
Okay.
Um,
Probably we can run campaigns and then
yeah, exactly. And it's
Yeah.
really just about driving interest in the club and developing the social media. I don't know if you've seen the like we have Instagram, for example.
yeah,
and then
I did
you
check
saw
it.
that.
Yeah, I followed it actually.
Oh, okay, nice. So then sometimes we have like video footage and
Okay.
using the video camera.
Go.
So yeah, it's just about like, but that was in July, and we haven't posted any videos since then. But we have lots of content,
Content, yeah.
so it's about doing something creative with that content. Really.
So like this is how I want to be doing. So this is a bit regional, but still we were conducting grassroots tournaments, and so a kid was using our camera to take photos. So we just got the moment where he was happy about how we got it, and we just try to add it. This is what I've been doing it for the last 4 years.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So this is the 48 too. So it's
Cool.
like
I know.
kids.
So Football Naka, because I saw you mention this before. What is that? It's a channel.
So it is actually a sports media company.
Okay.
So we create content in development of Tamil Nadu football. So the thing is, right now the Tamil Nadu football is really bad. The association is having conflicts between them. So there is no much how the league is happening outside.
Okay.
So the thing is, other states as in like there are multiple states. So example Sterling, Aloha, like that.
Yeah.
So the thing is, Tamil Nadu is performing really bad because of the conflicts between Tamil Nadu government and Chennai government.
Okay.
So they haven't conducted any reels,
Okay.
any recent tournaments or leagues as such.
Okay.
But the neighboring state Kerala has won Santos Trophy for the last 4 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's been a gap. So what we as a team plan to do is that we need to just create more awareness and start conducting more tournaments about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we conducted a Portkalam seniors team. After that, we thought we can't change much about the senior team now. It's always about the grassroots. So that over the next, we keep on doing it for the next 4 or 5 years. The culture will be formed again, and then it will be easy for the other youngsters to go out and like get exposed. So that's what the main objective of that company.
Okay. And you've been doing developing content.
Yeah,
on-
in that I've been even managing and I've been like creating content based off.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. Great if you were able to get involved. Only if you have capacity, but yeah, I mean we have so
No,
much.
I'll be more
good-
happy to help you out because
That'd be great.
it is like a good cause, right?
Yeah.
It's like just doing what I've been doing there, so
Right.
it just adds up to my
Yeah.
resume as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
just learn how it works over here.
Yeah. So we use VO, so I would give you a login to VO, so you don't need to film the content. The content's there.
It's already there. Yeah.
And it's really just downloading it and
And how
putting-
I make content out of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, let's have a chat.
Yeah, probably we'll have a chat next week and we'll just see.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I send the CV as well?
That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, it'd be helpful to know what kind of aspect you're interested in getting in. Like, what is it that you want to go and do after?
After I'm planning to go in some like operations.
Okay.
Operations management, or facilities management. Maybe in the field, working in the field.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah. No, just drop me an
I'll
email
drop
and
him, yeah.
see how I can help.
By tomorrow, definitely.
Okay. All right. See you later. I like the jacket.
But I just consider about that. The price is not bad.
How do you find the Scottish
Scottish winter.
Yeah.
It's cold. It's cold. You know, in China, I live in north of China, so it's gonna be such cold. Maybe like January, the temperature will be around 0 degree. Yeah. But no, still really cool. Inside in the classroom.
Feel cold in here. Not right now.
No, of course not right now. Of course not.
But it is cold.
Especially the strong wind.
Yeah. And the rain.
Yeah, and the rain. But I've took a raincoat, but I never use that.
No.
Yeah, just the rain won't be really heavy. Just the strong wind.
Yeah.
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 I think it's just a Scottish style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It is a very cold country.
Do you know some place to ski?
Ski
Yeah.
in Scotland?
Yeah.
Yeah. Glenshee. Glenshee. GLEN. There's also closer than that. There is a dry ski school in Bearsden.
Where is that?
Bearsden is near Glasgow.
Oh, Glasgow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
That's Glenshee. But there's also near it. There's also Bearsden.
Mandarin language.
সিগারেট খাওয়া হয়েছিল?
এই বাইরে এখানটাই
ওখানটায় গেছি
কোথায় ওই বাইরে পুরো বাইরে
সিগারেট করছিল এখানে বসে সিগারেট খেতে
তোকে ধরি বললো ওটা বাইরে অন্যদেরকে বলিস
না, আমাকে আগে দিয়ে
তোকে বলে কি পড়ি কি অর্গানাইজেশন
You know about the price.
I don't know actually.
You've never been to.
I probably have, but I don't remember how much.
Oh, we're gonna do bigger one. Take photos there. It will be awesome.
Yeah. Maybe go. Or there's one in. Yeah.
Oh no, Christmas is really good. It's the Coca-Cola trucks. Like there's a Coca-Cola truck that'll go into the bridge throughout all of it. So for the tractors that would go to the bridge and all these tractors are lit up.
Yeah, it's not nearby. It's not long.
I don't know. Say that again. Say that again.
Not really convenient to take.
I don't. I usually would.
I can do everything.
You write essays?
No, yeah, just yeah.
So how do you find the
Module?
Yeah.
Oh, so just in general. Oh. Yeah. I want to every module in this subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know the principle is really hard.
Audio. Yeah. Yes.
And
every principle is.
Yeah. But you know, I'm off.
Module and yours is better related the knowledge from will help in mix.
Right.
Yeah, you can connect to the law. Much more. Okay. But audio imagine
And what about studying in Scotland? Yeah, like you enjoy Yeah?
Yeah, me too.
I've been fine studying
What the fuck?
second language.
Why do you say it like that?
Most important
I really don't know why I said that.
difficult for
That's the only difference.
yeah. Not really, but
Let me see that 4 or 5. Okay, that's enough.
I know I sometimes have to slides on until after.
Sure.
I could have smoked on the fish. Right, like
What we do over staying in Italy.
But I need that. So I don't like crisps.
No reply.
And we're back at
Anybody watch the F1?
I don't know anyone apart from
I was on the telly, but I just got bored, so there was one next to
Cars, probably.
Have you not seen the video that?
I'm like, oh,
Have you not seen the? Did you look at Charlton
Let me have a
Charlton player?
Yeah.
It's literally the hottest one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love his dog.
Oh yeah.
You're welcome.
I know it's
Have you seen the video of like the
this year I was like,
Pepperoni.
Rami, yeah.
no.
Probably
I
had
think
it.
you're manifesting that.
You don't smell pepperoni?
I can fit in there.
It kills it.
No, look.
Oh, sorry,
Look at this. No, I can't even show it. It was literally like a.
Play the defensive man.
I've got some art in my room.
I just put it your wire. I put a wire that rings here.
I see that, man.
I know, me too. Yeah, I'm gonna do that with my yeah, you can
Yeah,
go
you
like
can
that
go
and
in and just like.
like as you go.
Yeah.
So they actually need
Did you
I know,
know?
you just got an individual photo and just pinch it.
Did you know in the new iOS you can get rid of things? Maybe I'll show you. Like I'll show you. So this is a photo of my meals, right? You can clean up, right? So
Is this one like the American?
I don't know.
Not really, but maybe in like next 5 minutes.
Okay.
Once the
Okay, guys, so we'll give you another couple of minutes and then I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to share what you've done.
Wait, so how do you do it?
Yeah,
You can get rid of. You can get rid of.
I'm so confused what was happening.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it there?
Ready up for that.
She's like, I'll show you. There's one. This is
Wait, it looks good as well. I thought your mum was standing next to you.
Such a turquoise. Yeah.
I don't know the password.
I've had my phone for about 2 or 3 months now.
What is what?
Fuck's sake. No, I want to just
Too much work.
அவன் தானே பண்ணி பண்ணது எல்லாரும் என்ன பண்ணி
okay, can you just like get rid of everything?
Okay.
That's so
you just say one
no, you can't tell in the picture this because
Let's get
look, that's laid in the back.
Oh, I thought you were trying everything. She's still there.
That's so weird. Yeah.
The guy is sitting by himself.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
so basically have a particular day
You know, he doesn't like that. You just need to keep doing it until it's right. That's cool.
certain events, right?
But you have to fill it, no?
Okay, so guys, we're gonna go through each group quickly and understand a little bit about what their thinking is, what their strategy is here around fundraising, where they think most of their funding is going to come from for the type of organisation that they are. So we are just going to go straight to you, Jeff. You would like to share the organisation that you chose, and what was, you don't have to give us every single part of the detail, but what were the key things that you thought about, what are the main sources of funding that you thought were going to be relevant to the organisation, and just kind of give us an overview of that. And if we could all just listen up whilst we're listening to everybody else whilst they're presenting, that would be much appreciated. Sorry, over to you, Jeff.
So the organization that we have chosen.
Feel free to stand up.
Yes, sure.
Please stand up.
So the organization that we have chosen is Edinburgh Capitals, which is a professional ice hockey team, and it has competed in the elite ice hockey top tier league from 1998 to 2018, when it departed from the league. And when it comes to the size and resources of the team, it's a very mid-sized team. But it was based in obviously it's based in the capital of Scotland. So it used to, the home stadium of Edinburgh Capitals was Murray Ice Rink, Murrayfield Ice Rink, and which has a seating capacity of 3,800. And when it comes to community engagement, it has a very small fan base, but then it had consistent support from that fan base. And to engage with that fan base, what they used to do is they had public skating competitions, youth development leagues and stuff, and also they had partnerships with schools. And the only problem that was created is they were not wealthy enough to compete in that league because other clubs were wealthier than them. So that was a problem on their on-ice performance and also in their recruitment as well.
Okay.
So now we will speak about the revenue.
Okay.
We'll continue for us.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, so talking about the potential revenues, by sponsorship, the revenue source will be from the local businesses, national brands, and sports-focused companies. So to sponsor the team activities, the jerseys and equipment range, and to implement that, they can utilize the digital platforms and the game day visibility, to provide sponsors with the tangible ROI, like example to the logos on the jerseys. Talking about the next thing is the match day events and sales. So the revenue source will be from the ticket sales, merchandise, and the concessions during the games. So to implement that, they can introduce ticket bundles to the loyal fans and the families. Then the crowdfunding campaigns, the community-driven funding campaigns via the funding platforms like GoFundMe or Kickstarter. They can use that as well. So they can showcase the direct impact of funds raised, building trust with the supporters. And the corporate and private events. The host teams the host team related events like corporate team buildings, private skate rentals or fan meet and greets. And to implement that, they can market offerings to local companies, highlighting the uniqueness of their ice rink experience. So that's it for the revenue stream, and we'll continue to the next part.
So overall with the strategy, we have two or three core pillars. It's like a community engagement, innovation. Starting with the community engagement, it's like we'll organize a crowdfunding campaign. Out of those, we'll be upgrading facilities, funding with programs, and recruiting top talents as well by offering rewards like exclusive merchandising and players top 10 like players meet and greet will be having over there as well. And after that, fans into active supporters. Like second is sponsorship partnerships. We are building partnership with local businesses and national of our operations. Sponsors will benefit from the high availability. Like it will go on our jerseys, but it will be sponsors and merchandising will also.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Very good work. Thank you. Any volunteers to go next, or will I just pick someone? This group here. So guys, let's listen up. We have Sterling Albion. Who's going to present?
We'll help each other out.
We'll help each other out. Please, feel free to start.
Well, it's tough to,
Yeah, they were very good. They set the standard.
That was
good.
So we had a look at the Sterling Albion, the way they fund the community side of things and the way the Youth Development Academy, I think, just gets funds and kind of survives. So the foundation side of Sterling Albion is the charity kind of arm of it, and they generate activities to promote inclusion and promote physical and mental well-being of children or just older people that want to participate in sport through programs that they organize and deliver, either free or just not a very expensive cost. For example, you have they generate income through 5 sites, which costs £4, for example, for one session. Then we also think that they get money through government grants, and for example, Scottish Gas works with the foundation side of things to deliver programs for children. They also have McDonald's programs in place, again, to include children that perhaps are not as well off as others. So those classes are for free, to just promote community inclusion. And Youth Academy, the Youth Academy gets probably government grants or memberships.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't really know. I'm really making this up on the spot.
No. So we've got. So you mentioned sponsors, obviously a key funder for the activity, but you've also spoken about all the social benefits of what they do and the outcomes. So there could be pots of funding for that from like grants and trusts, right?
Yep.
Bands, can you donate to a charity one-to-one like a donor?
Yeah, the club takes funds.
Okay.
I don't really, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, you've done some good work. Okay. Thank you. Round of applause. Group at the back. Yeah. Yeah. You've done the same thing. That's okay. I'd still love to hear it. Who's going to present?
Me, maybe.
Great. Fantastic. Please. Please. Yes, please.
I was gonna ask why, but there's no.
Why do you need to stand up?
Yeah.
It's just so we can all see you.
Okay, so we did the exact same football club. The main thing that we were kind of looking at was how we could increase their sponsorships. So already on their website they have like a message, but we think it would be kind of beneficial for them to reach out to try and get people involved, specifically when we're talking about the youth academy part. We're also thinking about trying to put on more community events to kind of get that engagement up, because then it kind of doubles up with fundraising, but also kind of impacting the community positively. So we're thinking about things like a fun run.
Yeah.
Get people
Cool.
involved. It's also like more of an active situation as well. It's like a gala. It depends on the club itself and the local community, but I feel like it's something that people can get involved with.
Other than gala big time as well.
Yep.
Like the branding thing.
Cool.
And when we did our research on the club, we don't specifically found but we feel like if you kind of get the community involved in your activities, then there's more likely to.
Yeah. Good consideration. Yeah.
So yeah.
I already have.
Okay. Any particular grants or funds that they should be tapping into?
We didn't look specifically at the name, but it's only good.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. This group here. Who's presenting? It looks like it's you. Well done. Okay, guys, that's enough.
It's a Bravo Cancer, a wheelchair rugby club.
Yep, great. Okay.
And our organizational concept is to promoting inclusive sports opportunities and to enhance player development and performance, and then increase awareness for disability sports. And the environmental analysis we find some competitors. It's like Dundee Wheelchair Club.
Okay.
And Scotland National Wheelchair Rugby as well. And the sector landscape we find is Scottish Disability Sports, the SDS.
Okay.
And our vision is aimed to establish the Glasgow Wheelchair Rugby as a hub for the inclusive sports in Scotland, providing facilities and work and training programs to the disability athletes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the fundraising main objective has been the corporate partnership and sponsorship is like from the wheelchair company, or like some, if we can find some fundraising from the government, or like some sports retailers is to do their like CSR.
Yep.
And overarching objective is enhance accessibility and inclusion, and foster community engagement, and support player development and competitive success.
Okay.
And secure sustainable funding and promote awareness of disability.
Good. Okay. So bit of sponsorship from potentially the wheelchair manufacturers. Yeah. Some possible government funding, given that it's about disability, meeting some health activities. What were there any other kind of main strands of funding that you thought would be suitable?
Not sure.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. All right, well, thank you very much for your work. Group here.
Right. We did the golf club, St Andrews Golf Club. So they started in 1848 in St Andrews, and they are based on St Andrews in the old course, a place called Pelmore Links. They have their own practice facilities, and the members for St Andrews will use this through an arrangement with St Andrews Links Trust. The clubhouse has things like a dining room, locker rooms, and social spaces, because golf is quite a social sport where people will have hit a few holes and go for a pint. In terms of community engagement, they have quite a big role in the golf community, and they have loads of socials and all the events kind of stuff, because that's kind of lively what the kind of sport's about. The kind of goal to look about is developing junior coaching programs and charitable initiatives. The strategy we came up with was like a kind of subscription model, like for example Netflix, where you have 3 tiers. So the minimum tier, you would get like minimal things, like, or not minimal, but like you would get things such as like a newsletter or stuff like that. Maybe the second tier would be something like you can watch the games, or I don't know what we'd call a golf match or whatever. But the third tier, you would get like, I don't know, a podcast or something. You could learn more about your club going on. So we talk about that. I think that's quite an innovative way of looking at it, because it's always been seen in the streaming industry, bring it into sport, quite interesting. I think lots of people like to see something new. We talked about customer bases. We think that the older generation, or not the older generation, but the older people, because they have a lot of time, they have a lot. Mostly who play golf are from an affluent background, as well. So we thought about looking at that, and so we thought about advertising through like Facebook, because they're more active on that social media, and through different things like pamphlets and stuff like that. We looked at some potential funding. The National Lottery are good for that. Sport Scotland, they offer facility improvement grants and sport development funding. Historic Environment Scotland, they want to maintain historic buildings.
Yeah.
And Visit Scotland growth funds. Obviously, golf courses are really well kept places.
Yeah.
So that's quite good for that. There's also different local authority funding and government grants as well to look at too. So I think these different grants and opportunities would be good for developing junior coaching programs and charity initiatives.
Perfect. Well done. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, golf clubs hit lots of different things as well, don't they? Initiatives. Okay, and last but not least, who's presenting? Okay.
Hi there. We'll be talking about the Western Wildcats Hockey Club, and it was founded in 1898, and it is currently the oldest field hockey club in Scotland. It is situated in the west end of Glasgow, and its home ground right now is the Murray Park. And we would like to talk about some fundraising strategies, which would include some sponsorship opportunities, where we would like to engage with the local businesses and local people, where they could sponsor us with some money and apparels which we can help with, and we could organize some events like some hockey fest day or something for the Movember Act, which is the Men's Mental Health Act, and some crowdfunding campaigns, and also some grants which can be very helpful to us.
Yeah.
And the rest will be said by Rohan, my colleague.
The primary objective of the club is to create better youth facilities, and also to add more how they can execute and have more contents of it. So one of the primary objectives is, as I said, to create better facilities and better programs which can assist the players also. And also, this being a community club, one of the easiest way is to start off with conducting community events like conducting breast cancer rallies, which can get in more people, and it also builds awareness of people as well. And also we can have on like anti-drugs campaigns, so rallies can be a major part of it. And also adding to it, just a second, sorry. Okay. So also to adding on, we can also create a documentary series about the youth campaign players to just understand what's going behind the players. So that gives more insights on what's happening behind the scenes. So that will help. It can also encourage many players to come and join the club as well. So it's not directly that we are going to get funding through tickets as such, because it is a small club, but we can ask sponsors to get in to give offers on their stands as well. So also in terms of building facilities, we can, as you said, keep a brick over the stadium. So that is a very good motivator, which can lead to many sponsors to start pulling in for money as well. There are certain risks which can come in. So it will explain how the risk is.
So as fundraising can also provide financial support, but it also comes with some certain risk as well. Like there might be some financial instability as well.
Yep.
Crisis may come in, and some other point is that insufficient engagement or participation. Like for example, if we do some crowdfunding campaigns or something like that, but it doesn't turn out as we expect it to be, and it might be like it might result in attracting less participation than we thought of. And another point can be sponsor or donor withdrawal. Like for example, if in the last moment some sponsors or can withdraw from giving them money, so this can be a potential downfall for the financial crisis as well.
Okay.
These are from the risks.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Okay, very interesting and good critical analysis. Okay, so we'll move on. One thing I want to discuss is this idea. So a lot of the time today we've been talking about donations, right? So people giving us money to do stuff which we know is good. They're not going to get anything in return for it, right? They're not going to get any financial return for it. It's just a donation because they like what we do, right? But there is a relatively new way that organizations, perhaps more at the professional end, that aren't charities, can raise funds. Okay. So last week we spoke about shares and we spoke about going on the stock market and how you can sell shares in the company and get a controlling stake in it, right? But for clubs that aren't really orientated around dividends or giving up ownership of the organization, there's something called community shares. So if you can think back to week 2, I think it was, when we spoke about different legal structures, okay, we spoke about something called community benefit societies. And community benefit societies are like cooperatives. So in theory, like we could start a sports finance cooperative, right? And we could all buy in, we can all pay £10 to become a member, and we all own a share essentially in that organization. But it doesn't matter if you put in £100 or £10, we all have one share, right? It doesn't matter how much you put in, everyone has an equal share. It's a cooperative, it's one member, one vote, okay? So there's this ethos that essentially organizations could be better run if they were owned by communities rather than by private individuals, okay? So non-profit organizations that fans or just members can buy into and each have a democratic equal say in it. So it doesn't matter that somebody has put in £500 and I've only put in £10, our say is the same. So it's a democratic basis, right? So what we can do if we're trying to raise money for a project is we can do something called community shares, which this video should explain, hopefully.
Like any organisation, football clubs need finance to grow. The problem is clubs are limited in the regular finance options. Relying on loans from wealthy individuals can put the club at risk, whereas selling shares on a one share, one vote basis can change the identity of a club forever. So, what are the funding options? At SD Club Development, we believe it starts with a club's community. Community shares provide an effective way for a club to raise money without the red tape or regulation, and they can even help clubs unlock further grant funding opportunities. Community shares give people a chance to invest, to buy shares and become part owners of their club, strengthening their connection with it. With investor tax incentives, annual interest payments, and the potential of clubs paying their investors back in the future, there are lots of ways that they make sense. Above all, it allows clubs to realise their ambition in a sustainable way. A win-win? We think so. Working with clubs across the UK, we found there are two ways community shares can help. One, they're a great way of raising money for valuable facilities, such as a clubhouse, a better stand or floodlights. Two, they can enable supporters to bind their club together and run it for the benefit of the whole community. Interested? We're here to provide subsidised expertise. Just visit www.clubdevelopment.co.
Okay, so community share. Oh, yes, sorry.
Would that be like in Germany, how they have the 50+1 rule?
Yeah, exactly. So same sort of ethos of fans buying in and having a controlling share in how that organizes, much like Hearts as well, in terms of that community ownership of the organisation. Yeah. So you've got these community shares, okay, so very different from the types of shares we spoke about last week. They're designed to try and create community-orientated clubs. It's not just football clubs, that's the example there, but it could be any type of club. But it doesn't have to be a club, so I'm going to give you an example of an organisation I was involved in. But yeah, so community shares. So they're different from the types of shares we spoke about last week for those kind of elite professional clubs, but they're there to create community ownership of assets. So those assets can be run for the benefit of everyone rather than a few individuals, okay? But within those shares, you can still get a return. So you're not investing for profit really, and it's unlikely that you might get a return, but there's the option there for the club to repay you back, okay? The shares can't be transferred, so once you bought them, they belong to you for life, okay? You can sell it back to the club at some point, but you can't transfer it to anyone else. You've got one member, one vote basis, so it doesn't matter how many shares you have, everyone has equal say, so it's always going to be democratic. And there's sort of tax incentives as well, because it's often for community benefit, okay? Some of the disadvantages, perhaps, of community shares, as I said, there's only one type of legal entity that can offer community shares legally, and that's community benefit societies that we spoke about in week 2. You might not get a return, so there's no incentive or there's no guarantee that you get your money back. So you might treat it as a donation, but if you got your money back or some investment, then that would be a positive. You've also got it more difficult without strong links within the community to perhaps sell community shares. And for some organisations, because you have share capital, you might be eligible for grant funding as well. So many years ago, again, just some personal experiences. I was a founder of an organisation called Ballast Sport, and they created sports balls, mainly footballs, but they also did rugby balls. We also looked into doing hockey balls, and the idea was that these were fair trade. So the footballs that you often see in the Premier League or rugby balls that you see in the Six Nations are often not fair trade products. Most of them produced in Pakistan, so we actually went out to Pakistan to see these balls being made, and the difference between the fair trade footballs and the other footballs were quite different in terms of what those workers actually got for making the products. So Ballast Sport wanted to try and change that. They wanted to create a cooperative that everyone could buy into. So in theory, tomorrow you could all become a shareholder and a share owner in Ballast Sport and try and do something different and try and shape sport differently. So we did a community share offer. We formed that community benefit society, and we offered a community share offer to the public. So I'm just going to share the video that they put together. at the time.
I'm Annie Howie.
And I'm Angus Cool, and we're the joint managing directors of Ballast Sport.
Football's lost its way. It's time to make a change.
That's why we set up Ballast Sport, but we need your help to help shake things up. Football unites the world. It brings people together, but all too often it ignores the workers who actually make the ball. Ballast Sport was set up to change the game. We are all about fairness and respect for the skilled men and women who work hard to craft that vital piece of kit. Through fair trade, Ballast Sport ensures there's no child labour, it guarantees a fair wage and safe working conditions, and access to union representation. Plus, we pay an extra 10% premium, which workers invest democratically in providing things like education and healthcare for their families. We've been to the factories, we've seen the difference this premium makes.
These people are out and they're hand stitching these balls. They're taking 3 hours to take their time on a real quality product, and they're getting the price they deserve for making the ball. So when you buy one of these balls, not only are you giving the person a fair wage who's making it, but you're also giving them access to education, healthcare, and access to clean water supply, which gives you a feel good when you purchase one of these balls.
We've got a quality product.
Okay, so I'm not going to share the whole video, but it's there if you want to go and watch it. So we ran a community share offer. We did a launch at Hampden Park, and we raised £100,000. Sorry, 100,000. 100,500. I don't quite sure how to say that out loud. Because it's not 105,000. 100,000, 500, 1,100. 100,000. 100,500. Yes, 100,500. Wow, that was much harder, easier than it should have been. Right, so anyway, we raised that amount of money, and we had 111 investors, okay?
Yeah.
But very hard to market to crack. Like, I don't know, what did you think of the product? Did you think it looked nice? Nice footballs? Yeah, it looked nice. They played quite nicely. But we couldn't really crack the market because, why do you think why do you think it ultimately didn't pan out? Yeah, saturated market. Yeah, so you've already got Nike, Adidas, Mitre. Why else do you think? Time? Go on.
Will it not take longer to produce?
Yeah, take longer to produce, yeah.
Why not invest as much on the advertisement like the other big?
Yeah, not a huge marketing budget, yeah, you can tell, yeah. What else? Unfortunately, it just costs more to make a fair trade product, which is part of the issue. But so they're more expensive. The footballs are more expensive to buy than a Nike or an Adidas. And if you can imagine, a child sees a football, they want to buy a Nike or an Adidas or a Mitre, right? Not a fair trade football, which perhaps not so bothered about. But anyway, so a community share offer is a way to go for something like that. And just for sort of 15 minutes, what I'm going to get you to do in your same groups again is have a look at the community share offers that have been listed on campus, right? And I want you to have a think about the questions that are on there. So these are all organisations that have done, sports organisations that have done a community share offer. Have a look at them and just have a think about the questions. So why have they gone for a community share offer? Why is that a good fit for what they've done to do? What are some of the things that they're actually offering to the investors as well? Like how are they pitching it? Is it financial investment? Like what are the main selling points there? Okay. So give you till 15:15 to have a look through. There's the share documents are offered on the website, but feel free to do some additional research. Have a look at their website.
Are we actually getting a member?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. You missed David last week, so he was asking after you. He was asking
I've
after you.
actually said that.
It's a unique
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Okay. It actually shops in Malvern sometimes.
Is he from Hamilton?
He's from Blantyre.
Oh, is he? No, he does. No, he does.
Those are the ones you already clicked. Like you saw your plan.
Yeah. Ask them there.
I actually met him at the symposium, and that's how we started talking. Yeah. And then met him and then met Stephanie. Yeah. Yeah. So. I got my placement with Robert when I was up at St. Gael and stuff. And yeah, I just whenever I see him, keep in touch.
Yeah.
That was good.
Do you still spend time in London?
Yeah.
See, next to the London Stadium, my friend used to run a restaurant, but it was on the Thames, called Park East.
Oh yeah, down the town.
Yeah.
I feel like what's a bit like that.
Best restaurant.
Oh,
best restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He's moving back up here. He's taking It was a boat.
It was a boat.
Like,
It's on the tap. Yeah. So you walk into it and you're just
Anywhere with the
which is why I was saying.
Yeah. Just stop. Well, then it's now merged with another fair trade supplier. We've got Ballardsport as a cooperative.
Like, you come back and feel like, oh, you're really
Nice, right?
Which one are we picking, guys?
There
Bath.
that they can sponsor.
You could still buy them.
Remember talking about like
All right. Okay.
Jubilee pool.
I don't have any golf with them anymore, but yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, it's cool.
Where did you stay that year? Like, I know it's not for
Oh, that's Cornwall.
No, somewhere in Glasgow.
Oh, the West End.
Oh, yeah.
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲ್ ಕೊಂಡು ವೇಣು
You don't know that?
No, I didn't.
on screen
Dude, you're humble. I'm humble, yeah. I don't know that.
You didn't see?
kidding
Put the following. Present the findings to the class via a PowerPoint presentation.
Do you know how they start?
Those questions.
You need to choose one of the Jubilee pools to talk about heating up pools.
பாத் பண்ணலாம் பாத் சிட்டி பண்ணலாம்டா
If you donate money, you get certain rewards. 4% tax relief. Wow!
Very good.
The club.
So you don't get tax relief. Relief.
Honestly, man.
The kids these days.
Kids these
not,
days.
Not educated, you know.
What are they doing these days?
That's woman size. I don't think 9.5 by 50 fit is that shows. 11.5.
It's actually in Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like
14.
So it's washed then.
Ashwin Venkatraman.
she should.
Struggle. My dad's name is
issues is we start half 5, but this morning it still showed up at 5.
Can we do one thing? Can you just copy
Shit,
and
so
paste
it's
it?
fine.
That's it.
I checked the rotors and I was like, oh, Tuesday, Mondays and Tuesdays are half 5. And that way I could have went in myself.
Put it there. You put it in the website.
Huge. No audits, just like investigation. So we need to kind of like all follow those. Because if he goes down, like, you know, he gets down. One of those ones.
Sounds like a nice environment to be part of.
So I was like, no, I can't go in there myself.
How much
So I
change?
have to
I think we should get the premium one now. Come up and give the asset medicine. Abhi? Abhi is a name, man. What does Abhi mean? He said, bro. What? Yeah. I think you should follow him. There's a Hindi song on this. Bala, you can put it in the website.
Breathing.
के बोल भी है तू के भालो भाई बोल
Yeah, I know.
Really? Look, that's good. You should do information. Tell us about yourself. Oh, I'd say yourself.
How do you life go?
Feeling I
worked. 100 में ऑस्ट्रेलिया अगेंस्ट बट तुमको तो you don't know, but first of all, he is not 100. He is not even in the Mumbai squad. He is in the probables. He has gone up because of disciplinary issues.
Back all night
Fitness issues. Disciplinary issues as well. उसने मेरे से डांस के जो हालत
Geothermal energy. What?
Hey, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'll do it by
I'm sleepy, man. எதை பத்தி நான் பண்றேன் பத்தி நான் பண்றீங்க
Jubilee pool.
இதெல்லாம் புதுசா இருக்குது
won't buy no after this thing ends they don't buy.
What did you
அப்புறம்
badly I'll control myself. It was 83.
எனக்கு அப்படிதான் இவன் வந்து கேப்பான்டா
They changed the date.
How's it going?
Yeah. You got me wrong. As in literally or like
It's killed now.
Stonehaven's getting out. Yeah, first time I went, it was really good.
We're gonna do the pill one.
Talking about thermal walls.
Yeah.
Jubilee pool.
டேய் ஜூப்ளி போல் மயிர்
where's the middle man? Huh?
Unless it's like
division to the use करती है
yeah, so
But the video just says
350. So they do like they got like a YouTube video. No, not what? Yeah, they said that they needed to be 350. Right. But then now they've said there's 850. But
So 350k
so
just
they,
for the gym.
So they might have raised 300.
Maybe.
Yeah, so they might have raised.
Right. Well, I suppose they need to raise
Project.
Yes.
Anyway, so
make you rich. All good? You're doing Bala?
no, I really go through all these questions.
So basically, he's saying that if you can give him one ball, you can show it in India.
He's not involved with the
But I do have the balls. I've got one in my office.
Sorry.
So he can
Uh,
show it in India.
England.
You can actually tell them that
Actually, and when they hear about Scottish clubs or UK clubs or something, the prices of the balls actually are relatively very good. It's like £29 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not involved, but yeah, I will pass it on to
The workers are Sal, the person.
I think these ones don't look as cool as these ones.
It's like
Basically, it's one of the important sports things. Like the footballing history of India. So Mohan Bagan was the first club.
Take a
It is
ball to
situated in Bengal as well. So they have the giants of the football things in Bengal, and it's hugely
It's a huge-
prioritized there in Bengal. So we use balls like Costco and Nivea there. It's not that good. Okay. So there's a Players Association and talk pitch to them about this.
Yeah.
It can be a good idea.
Well, yeah, I can.
Well, it was actually somebody's girlfriend on the team. Oh, okay. And then she heard her boyfriend.
Give him a ball.
I have a rugby ball in my office.
No, have you seen the one?
It's not that.
Yeah, it's got them sides. Like, I want to go to that. Did you see it in this? Like, we're doing it. I really want. I like watching on the show.
Okay, just have a little last think about any of those questions. I'm not going to ask you to present them, but just have a little think about the last bit, and then we will.
To be fair, that's enjoyable. That's like
This one. What is the cost?
29.99.
You can actually sell it in 25 also even.
Maybe you sell it in 29. He's not getting it.
Was it
He's a middleman.
Give it to
Yeah.
You try it on something else.
We're saying, what's the best part that's up there? The one with
I actually Costco and Nivea balls are still
মিডলম্যান মানে কমিশন খেতে পারবো
ভালো
you can actually sell it for
I swear there's another bit. I swear. Shooting up on the side. No, it's not.
Yeah, hospitals as well, like ribs and everything.
bibs, not dips.
I mean, I've never done it.
I mean, I would have a whisper up there. Panama.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you the ones I wouldn't have. I would have stamps.
Oh, it's got a coconut.
Cool.
Yeah. That's such a good idea. Something like
Everything. First 10-year installments.
Subscribe to my subscription.
Okay, right, we'll call it there. So, what were some of the things that you were finding when you were researching this compared to the last assignment, compared to the last activity? What were the main differences that you were finding about these types of community share offers? Any kind of key takeaways or thoughts?
They were offering like rewards to the people who were doing
Yeah. Okay. What kind of rewards were they offering?
So the one for the pool, I was offering like it was really weird stuff like postcards and like free visits, and it all depended on how much they donated.
Okay. Yeah.
And also as well, there was anybody could essentially pay as much as they want, but they had a specific donation for people who were residents in Cornwall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Good. Anything else that you found? Anything interesting about community share offers? Was there like a good fit between the share offer and what they were trying to do, like the objectives of the organisation or like the structure of the organisation?
Maybe profit and non-profit.
Yeah. Okay.
So last one that we did was more of about getting a profit because they need the profit to survive.
Right.
These are non-profit organizations that are working more for the people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is one.
Good. Okay, so focusing on the kind of non-profit aspect of it. Yeah. Good. Sorry. Anything else? Okay. Right. Well, hopefully that's a bit of food for thought if you're ever thinking about how you might raise funds as an organisation. What I'm going to do is let you go. If you want to go, you're very welcome to go. If you want to spend half an hour working on your assignment and you have any questions, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to stick around for a wee bit. But otherwise, you're free to go. Next Tuesday, as I say, it's our last session. We've decided we're going to do a sampling session. So we're going to get some different food and drink from around the world, and I will also have prizes for mental winners. But yeah, if you want to bring some food and do that, we're going to try some Peruvian Coca-Cola. Bring food from your home country.
No, Scottish people. Scottish people. Haggis. Haggis. I like it.
You don't like it?
I like the pudding, but not